For hating that my ex-girlfriend lives with my parents, am I the jerk? Someone was following me around and bothering me at the beginning of this year because she thought I was cheating on her husband with another woman. They called, messaged, and sometimes even came up to her in public every day for more than a month. She broke my window with a rock and did bad things to my car and garage. Charges were made against her after she was caught on camera. I had to pay a lot of money for lawyers to tell her that both the husband and wife could be sued if she didn't stop. It looked like she was losing her mind, so she was put in a psych hold. The medicine she was taking helped, and she agreed to stop. She also understood that I wasn't involved. As part of our legal agreement, she posted on social media to say she was sorry, clear my name, and pay me for the damage she did. My fiancé didn't help me at all during this. He wouldn't help me at all while we were living together. When I was approached in public, he would just leave. He got in his car and drove to stay with a friend after our condo was broken into. He said staying there would be too embarrassing. Maybe he didn't understand that I was scared and thought my life was in danger. He knew I had nothing to do with this. Anyway, he didn't stop his family and friends from thinking badly of me and being rude to me. He would get angry and act like there was nothing he could do when I begged him to help me. When the woman who was bothering me sent the apology post, I sent them to everyone and said I got caught up in someone else's disaster and that my fiancé was a coward for what he did. That was also how I broke up with him in public. During this whole mess, my parents were very helpful and gave me money for the lawyer's fee. But they didn't like how I talked about my ex in public. These people told me I was being rude and told me not to break up. I did take his name off of my posts in the end. I was no longer interested in a relationship with him though. Even after everything was over, I was still pretty scared and traumatized. I quit my job because living with my ex was too much for me. Because she lived in a different state, my best friend asked me to stay with her for a change of pace. It was nice to have a break. While I was there, I also found a great job and chose to move there. Since then, I've lived in this town. I bought plane tickets to spend Christmas with my family, and my mom told me last night that my ex is living with them as a house guest. I moved out and my parents let him live with them. My mom said he wasn't doing well after I left. Why are my parents taking care of this man who didn't stand by me? I don't want to see my ex. Will it make me a jerk to tell my parents I can't come over while he's there? Changes. I didn't spend Christmas with my family. Many people blamed and argued with me after I called my parents to say I wasn't coming. My mom yelling at me for being cold and my dad telling me I wrecked her feelings. My mom wants me to get back together with my ex. The dad agrees with what the mom wants to do. When I asked them why they wanted me to be with someone who wouldn't protect me, my mom said that the stalker would have if he were a guy. But it was only a woman, a lady from a good family, so there wasn't any real risk. This was new to me because both of them were scared for my safety at the time, but now they're playing it down. These are the same points that ex used to make, and they believe him. The mom then says that this was embarrassing for the ex and that I hurt him by putting him in it. This made me think of a time when my mom was upset with me. I was never what she would have had me be. I know she loves me, and I thought that our disagreements were just natural for a mother and daughter to have. That's not all my mom is afraid of, though. She is a thin, curvy, and pretty woman who is very picky about how she acts and looks. Family on my dad's side gave me my shape. I have big breasts and a lot of curves. My mom has been worried about my weight and body, and she would tell me to hide it and play it down. I did not do well enough in school to become a teacher or a doctor as she had hoped. I became very good at sales, which is what I did for a living. At a big company where I made good money, I dressed simply but no longer wore loose clothes. Instead, I wore professional suits that fit well. It made my mom very angry that I look the way I do and work in sales. The guy whose affair caused me trouble when I was a boss at the same company where he used to work. In different parts of the company, we worked on the same floor. I took the blame because if I had known who he was seeing, it would have been much more shocking and could have cost him his job. My mom thinks the wife had to blame me because I look like the person who did it. She thinks that this event proved her worries about how I look in my job. I should have learned from my mistakes, but instead I have a job as a client relationship manager at a financial company, which makes her sick. She feels like she has to make me leave my job, get married, and go back home. I'm really upset with how things have gone. My relationship stopped, and now my parents are dying. That cheating husband is still married to his crazy wife, and he still has the same job.